Welcome back, extraordinaires, to episode 3 of Gen Z Men versus Reality. I am your host, ZM. If you like, comment, and subscribe. And if you got a question, you can email me. You want an episode request, I'll do it. And we're going to be doing the top five worst misconceptions Gen Z men have, right? And we're going to be doing that. So let's just get right into it. And got my notes right here. We're going to start with number one: trust men, you'll always win. Now here's how this started. Back in the day when men's self-improvement content was more different, it was more realistic since a lot of the men were older and it wasn't just like people just telling lies that they stole from the Disney Channel and stuff like that and just selling that to little kids. It was guys like trying to actually like try to help men and grow and saying, hey, but we need to start helping each other more because a lot of these guys they had seen friends like let's just like expire. I have to use that word, expire early, or they've seen stuff they didn't like to see, so they won't want to see younger men do that, right? And then Gen Z man twisted it and they metamorphosized it into, well, you just got to trust every man you see. You need to be friendly with every man, like this male solidarity myth, right? Guys, if you try that out for a year, right, like only trusting and being friendly with like just every guy you see, you're gonna get pissed the heck off quick. Men do not, there is not this male solidarity. And this is why a lot of these idiots who believe this, we know male solidarity. Well, first of all, you guys actually really like women if you're thinking that way. And second, like also guys, like this is why a lot of these men are stuck in the same situation because they just think, well, these men aren't going to screw me over. These men aren't going to screw me over. When yes, you will get screwed over, right, extraordinaires. And it's just a very insane idea. Like this is why, like I said, like a lot of guys are stuck in a lot of ruts because they think, well, why aren't like, bro, they don't know your life story, bro. Not everybody on the street knows your life. Well, nobody on the street really does, unless you run into like a friend or something, right? But this is a very horrible misconception because it makes men like believe, and also this is a big reason why course kids don't get called out by like other men all too often because a lot of us have been sold this idea that all of us men we're all friends, no fights will ever happen, and we're all on the same team, like a boys versus girls episode of a Disney Channel show or whatever. People, a lot of guys really believe in that. So even though these guys are scamming kids, right? Like these guys are literally scamming kids. One of these dudes, and I know I'm bringing up Disney Channel a lot, but he said like his first girlfriend he got after developing his tactics, he like mentioned like this like girl that was I believe on one of these shows, and this kid was just lying, right? Like he was just straight, and nobody called it out. Everybody believed this idiot, but you can't call it out because you're supposed to be helping men out, right? This is a huge misconception. Be nice who is nice to you, guys, right? Like male or female. And again, a lot of you guys obviously want like we all want to date women and stuff. So it's like, why do we have this idea where we can only just like talk and be friends with men? And again, I know why it happened because a lot of guys wanted to sell their courses when they didn't want to be caught out. So they created this huge lie that is not true, right? So I wanted to say that is like the first huge big misconception I see. And now the second big misconception I see is being self-sufficient and isolated, right? That they're the exact same thing. You see a lot of gloom farmers say, well, you see, you guys cut off a lot of people and you guys know what you need to do for yourself, but you still feel horrible. No, you gloom farmer and all these other people, which you guys did, you isolated. You did not become self-sufficient. There is a difference. Self-sufficiency is like that's like coming up with actual skills to be able to do what you want for yourself, being able to protect yourself. Heck, like talk to people, grow your food, just becoming good at what you want to learn, learning whatever interest on your own, and being content with like being like I guess like on your own, so you can do stuff on your own. Because trusting yourself is important in a low trust society, right? Locking yourself in your bedroom all day, eating Long John Silver's, bro, you've isolated yourself. You're not self sufficient. And now you have all of these guys. This is a huge misconception of Gen Z men thinking, well, I'm self sufficient. Why hasn't my dream girl came to me or whatever? But that's because, bro, you're not. You isolated. You isolated yourself, right? But you did not actually go and make any work worthwhile, right? You didn't actually go and do anything whatsoever. And guys, I already thought of a bonus one, the deep conversation, right? I thought of a bonus one just right off the rip. I looked down because I'm checking my racks, but I just thought of something. The deep conversation misconception, guys. Yes, we're getting bonuses already, right? A lot of guys say there's no deep conversations anymore, but really what they're talking about is there's no pill debates that happen all the time in real life, right? Because a lot of guys are like, man, what this OnlyFans girl said on TikTok was just so horrible or whatever. I can't believe more men are too scared to speak up about this stuff in real life. And it's like, guys, you guys got to stop believing like you're in like a TV show, like you're in a Disney Channel like original sitcom or whatever, because this is it's just stupid. It wastes time, and nobody wants to sit there and talk about something that's being shoved down everyone's throats all the time. Everyone's algorithm was typically filled with this very divisive content. Maybe some people just want an escape. Maybe their way of making the world a better place isn't to have a debate all the time, right? Because Gen Z ruined debate. They absolutely we've destroyed debates because now it's just a huge like horrible battle. Nobody wants to actually discuss anything. But it's like, guys, not everyone wants to debate every 5 minutes, right? Because it's fun to have a discussion. A lot of you guys don't even know there's between a discussion and a debate. Also, you can have discussions about normal topics, right? Like you can have one of the best conversations I had with a girl when I was in California was about like it was about soda. Literally, we just talked about soda, and this girl had 11,000 followers on Instagram, and she like stalked me for 2 weeks off that. She just enjoyed that conversation that much. My brother was telling me not to pursue or whatever, but that's a story for a different time. But listen, you can have deep conversations about normal stuff, right? And I wanted to say like that too, right? So now let me see. Now this is, I believe, I'm going to misconception number three. Okay, and this one is going to be the dying on dumb hills theory, right? And typically put, one of the huge reasons why men are having a harder time make friends is that within a group. I'll give an example, right? Let's say like there's a group of guys that love cars and another group of guys they love planes, right? And so they're doing a little, just having a like competition to see what's better, a car or a plane or whatever, right? What's better and yada. Well, and now one guy in the group likes trucks. Another dude in the group he likes sedans in the car groups. Now from there they just start getting into these fights. No, I like trucks. I like my Ford F-150. I like my Dodge Jeep Ram. No, we need to bring back the old American sedan. We need to bring back the old American sedan. We need to combine like the parts of these German awesome sedans. Like I want my BMW, and they start getting in these huge fights and they down those hills. You see this a lot on the internet, and it is seeped in the real world now, right? It has really seeped itself into the real world, like where a lot of guys are just now believing they need to down these dumb hills, and you'll never have any community that way, right? And then they wonder why the airplane group wins because they were united. Some of them might have like different types of planes, like some of them like, but hey, they got together, right? They got together, and then you have this group of guys over here talk about, no, I like trucks. No, I like monster trucks, not normal trucks. And I'm seeing this happen, right? And it's encouraged to die on these hills. And the guys pushing this again, it's these course kids because these course kids again, it's like a Disney Channel thing. Like an example would be like in a Disney Channel episode, and I know I got to keep going back to this, right? Because this is what a lot of men really have like this mass psychological phenomenon. A lot of isolated men where like the real world is like a Disney sitcom. You'll have like an episode where like some people are sitting there. They're like, let's have an apple eating competition. So these two friends, they'll be eating apples or whatever, and all of a sudden, like the girl will walk by. The girl everybody loves, and she won't even notice them eating an apple. But these guys be like, "Dang it, you made me look stupid eating an apple." Well, hey man, maybe we should have done this in the first place. And they'll fight for the whole episode before they realize, okay, we're friends or whatever, right? And obviously, like a lot of guys, they take stuff like that and they're like, you always need to defend your point all the times, right? You got to go, you got to be, they come up with different words for it in these courses. You got to be alpha, you got to be yourself, you got to be true. They tell just these lies, right? And so a lot of guys now they've taken this idea that it really originated off of a Disney Channel shows and stuff like that, and now they're dying on these dumb hills. And it doesn't make you strong, and it makes it harder for people to come together because nobody's going to want to relinquish their point because now everybody has so many micro issues they carry about, right? Like if you like, you could go up to somebody right now, and you guys both could really love water, and we all love water, right? Everybody loves water, and this person's like, well, do you like purified water or non-purified water? I just like normal water. I like tap water, and fights will break out. And a lot of guys are doing this now, and we're talking guys in their 20s and stuff, and 20s. And now I've seen it with these like course kids and alpha dudes. They'll be in their 30s doing it, and it's all happened. And it's like you guys look like children because those Disney Channel shows are for like they're from like 12-year-olds, right? They're for 12-year-olds or 14-year-olds. It's like why are you now? You guys are sitting here like that. That's a huge misconception. Guys, you need to know when to agree to disagree, and people will use this against you to make you look like absolutely insane. It'll just be used to make you look absolutely just nuts. So I'm just trying to say, like, that's a huge misconception that you need to die on these dumb hills. because it makes you look strong. Guys, that is definitely not true at all. And you guys got to stop doing it, because if you guys really want to come together and make the world a better place, you guys cannot be doing that, right? And now the next one I'm going to be seeing is the loudest in the room misconception. All right, this is number four, and this has been pushed by so many people, right? Where and they'll say it in their courses, right? Because here's what happens to any person who isn't aware of what I'm talking about. I was watching a lot of these guys will spend hundreds of dollars on their courses, and they will say, "What you need to find an interest you're good at, always talk about it, and know you're right." And this sounds super like it's if you're a socially isolated, this sounds smart, like, oh wow, okay, because I can show off my expertise in any given subject or whatever. But in reality, people like this are suck, right? Like this person online, somebody who chronically online or offline knows this person. The person who considers themselves an expert. They could be like weather. Let's just say they're a weather expert online and a cooking expert in real life. They just won't shut up about the weather or how good they are at chef. Like, for example, if they're a chef in the real world, they got the best cake. They got the blessing from Gordon Ramsay. They've watched every season of MasterChef. Every conversation turns into what food is great. And then the weather person online who just loves the weather, every time there's a big event, they just tweet out the most basic stuff ever about it and say they're an expert. Like, it'll be like thunder will hit a car and cause a fire. Wow, that car is really on fire from this thunder. And you can say not interested. There they will be, and they just won't shut up. They're loud. They mock other people. You're not as big as an expert as I am. Everybody hates this person. Okay, guys, don't ever be this person, right? Because course kids are pushing like, hey, you need to be the loudest in the room, right? You have to be the loudest in the room. And extraordinaires, you want to learn as many things as you can, because you impress people more that way when you start talking about all sorts of stuff like, wow, you actually like about that, right? And you can help it. You can find out like the traits for other people, right? Do not be that. And this is a defensive tactic, because I feel like a lot of you guys didn't have the childhoods you have wanted and stuff like that, right? So you guys start feeling like, well, I need to show I'm good at something, but you do not want to be that that the loudest person, right? You do not want to be the loudest person like that. This person's often hated. They don't show up, and I really dislike them. Like, I'll give you an example. I had a friend, right, who they got into MIT, which congrats to them. That was just really prestigious at the time. They would gotten in there, and they were talking about it a lot. They were always talking about MIT all the time, right? And they were sitting there, and pretty much, I actually needed their help, because when I was doing an internship, one of the things was we had to go and we had to tell these like I don't, it's like kids about something math related. So I had this like I said, hey, yo, you want to do it because you're really good at stuff. You can explain stuff better than me, right? And they didn't know what to really do when they were there. And I ended up doing it anyway. So to make it worse, these loudest in the room people, they can't even back up what they're saying. They're annoying. They'll be playing cooking or weather podcast at the wedding. Guys, don't be like that. Be a master of all trades, so to speak, right? I want everyone here diversifying their skills, right? Being the best they can, learn as much, because it's easy. We have so much stuff now. I believe in using AI as a productivity tool in addition to a research tool, because people just do horrible research. Like, right, there are these horrible AI videos that are everywhere nowadays that just suck, but that's a story for another day. And guys, for the fifth one, right? And I'm thinking of some more bonus ones right as we speak, right? The fifth one and the final one, which really won't be the final, I'm gonna have some more, is how social respect works, right? And there's like this theory, right, where you can just go, right? You can just go and if you get like stardom, right, and you go back to your hometown and people like TJ who didn't invite you to his party in the 10th grade, everyone will respect you and nobody will hate you. And that definitely is not true at all. God, I'm so sick of this being spread because it's real. And this is pushed by gloom farmers where they'll say stuff in their video like, society is so unfair. Society is so evil. Society is so dark. And if you had they use these Disney Channel words. If you had that popular fame like everybody, everybody in your own town would just love you once you've come back or whatever. And that all this stuff is a lie. As somebody who's done well in main character city, and I'm doing super good. But right now, I'm here back where I graduated high school. I want to try to set up something business related, but that's a story for another day. Maybe I'll talk more about that. Maybe I won't. I don't know, right? It depends on what you guys really want, right? Because you guys really tell me what to do. And anyways, right? This isn't true. You'll have just first of all, you'll have a friend turn on you for sure, right? Even and like a friend will turn on you. And the worst part about when male friends they turn on you, one of the worst things is that they start off very slowly. One thing they'll do is they'll start calling you out on mistakes in a way that seems funny. Because man, we make jokes about each other's expense sometimes, not no mean like rude way, but we do. We'll just sit there, we'll laugh about something in the past, but we're all joking around. So they'll start attacking you. Like let's say you mispronounce the word strawberry and you call it like a callberry. All right, you just call it a callberry, but then you correct yourself really quickly. They'll say, "Why did you call it a callberry?" And they'll get like angry, but they'll be playing it off, and it'll grow from a situation like that to eventually you're in an abusive friendship and you don't know what to do because you don't want to confront them over it because you're giving them what they want by confronting them over it. So I think it's best in this situation for is to just cut them off, is so they could just learn their own lesson right and apologize to you later. Because typically, put if you're bringing value to a friendship and they're doing like that stuff, you don't have to do any alpha battle. You can just cut them off. I'm telling you, within like a few months, they'll actually talk to you super friendly and stuff like that, right? But not only that, you'll have friends become like really just hateful. You'll have people who could have been allegedly on your side, right, and really liked you. But when they see that you're talking about stuff or like the type of women you're getting attention like from, and they feel outranked and they just turn heavily against you, right, extraordinaires? And that's one thing too. Like not everybody just goes and respects you, right? And another thing too is that, and this is how so many of these guys are lying. I'm gonna keep saying this is that if you went and you got like attention in the main character city and you did your job, you're not gonna be thinking about these people like that. Whatever, if you didn't do anything with your life, right? You're one of these course kids, scammers who just scams kids all day or whatever. You might need that invite from TJ in a 10th grade now, but if you've actually done stuff with your life and you've gone out, you're not gonna care like, yo, who is TJ? Like, I don't care if they invite me to whatever or what, right, guys? But a lot of these guys, they know who their audience is, they know how vulnerable they are, and they know who they're scamming. So they promote, well, if you just get this popularity for other people, you'll just go and also, guys, a lot of you guys would just be the bully. Here's what I mean by that. What I mean by that is you guys always talk about how rude society is and stuff like that. But if you could get that attention from TJ and go to parties, you'd be bullying vulnerable people too. A lot of you guys would be doing that. And if you wouldn't, you would stop obsession over this crazy idea. And I keep saying, get the heck out of your hometowns. We're going to do an episode about this, right? About how bad it is for a lot of people to stay in their hometowns. But social respect does not work that way. No, nobody agrees on one thing. And that's one of the most beautiful things about humans. But it's also one of the most destructive as well, right? Like but it just sucks that people will turn on you, and if you're a nice guy, it's even worse because they're gonna. And this is why one of the downsides about this whole nice guy thing that's not even dating related. One of the worst things about that is that like they're gonna expect you to give them stuff. Like, all right, this guy's a pushover, this guy's a duo, so they better invite me or connect with this person, and that's why it's better to just withdraw from your hometown, keep like your fame to yourself. And I don't mean withdraw from society, meet new people, right? If these guys didn't want you anywhere or whatever, because some of these guys are like, I overheard this one person who was my friend, they talk down on me to other people, but I wonder if I go out here and I take this course, they were posting something like that, maybe they'll like me. Why would you want them to like you? Really? Like that was a formative year. They messed up an experience for you. They were talking bad about you. Why would you want to do anything for them after that? Why are you care? Why do you think about them, right? And again, these are the vulnerable people who are being preyed on, right? This is a huge, absolute, this is a massive misconception that so many Gen Z men have, right? Like, oh man, I'm gonna get this. That's not how social respect works. That's not how dominance is shown. And I already thought of, I know it's my favorite reason, but now you told you, I just thought of another bonus one. Because I had that other, I had a bonus one earlier. I thought of another one. Social collateral misconception. The social collateral misconception. And this happens when you're isolated from the real world, so you don't know how things work. And again, a lot of these courses, they take stuff from Disney Channel original sitcom tropes, right? Like I could go turn on the Disney Channel. I don't know what movie they're showing or whatever now because I'm just that's just not my thing, guys. Sorry, but like I could go right now. I could watch whatever I think music or whatever they're doing, and I could tell some. I could make a course right now, and I could say what happened in this course happened to me, and everybody would believe it. A lot of these kids would just believe it, right? Because in these TV shows and like these digital TV shows, I talked about it earlier, right? Like you can go and destroy a road. You can accidentally drive your car into the school. You could have like a wild elephant go around and start dancing in the classes, and the next day, right, everything is fixed. And a lot of this idea is like pushed to like once you do my course, you can do whatever you want. And guys, there's social collateral, right? Like people are gonna have to clean that up. You're gonna have all sorts of inspectors come out to a building. You're gonna end up in prison, obviously, too. You definitely are, right? And you guys got to realize that like social collateral exists because a lot of these guys have this crazy view that people all the time are going around and just doing this crazy Disney Channel stuff. And it's a lie, right? It's a lie that was sent to, it's meant to sell a product, right? A product that doesn't even work because these courses are all lies. In fact, I'm starting to think that there needs to be like almost class action lawsuits against some of these people. But I actually did talk to a law professor. They said guys can't do anything about it yet. So, but it is just pretty messed up. That is other misconceptions. I want to think of another bonus for you guys. I really do. So I'm trying to let me see. Let me brainstorm. I know I already have my notes for like what I want to talk about, but uh, oh, okay. The one time mistake. The one time mistake lie. This is a oh my gosh, guys. So they tell you don't when you're buying these courses, you're watching these videos, it tells you to not focus on practical things, right? Like actually getting better or whatever in your life. It really tells you to like focus on what they want you to focus on. They want to get your mind in this very vulnerable place so you can believe like you can be like one of these Disney superheroes that like goes to the space station at 7 p.m. and then meets a girl from the rival school and gets into a fight all within the same night. So they tell you these lies, but if you don't focus on like these current issues or vices or whatever and try to get them while you're young, they're gonna pop up and you're going to fall into this very horrible trap of if I just do this thing one more time or I just let it go a little bit longer, even though I'm like feeling like I have a vice or whatever, this get really dark as you old. That's not right, or you haven't corrected that personality quirk. It will destroy you because you'll feel like it's just one time, or I'm just doing this thing one time, and I'm watching this course, and you didn't actually work on what actually mattered, and now you have a horrible. And as you get older, this could get very dark, and I don't want to see this happen to anybody, right? I don't want to see this happen because this is how really addictions really spread. Like most times, these people they had a chance to stop whatever had happened, and this is why I find one of these this idea of being pushed, like this whole one time thing. Like you can just do this thing that you're struggling with one time, and like it's one more time, and nothing. No, you guys need to cut that out, right? There is no magical course that is going to stop you from having that issue, and you guys have to. You need to confront that issue while you're young and while you're directly and I gotta say this, a lot of parents have failed. That's another thing I've realized. Now that's an episode for another video, but so many guys just believe I don't have to work on anything realistic. I could just watch a course and all my issues go away. No, because what will happen is one of those issues or vices you were having, you'll start thinking just one time, and then boom, right, boom, you're in just a horrible situation. So that's another misconception, right, guys? And my last misconception I'm going to talk about. It's supposed to be a top five, but I thought of some bonus ones. Is this is going to be very hard for me to talk about, but the all drama is great. Now I got to set the stage for this story, right? And all right, so guys, your boy ZM was was married for 9 days. All right, and oh my gosh, it was a 9 day. It wasn't like a government marriage, but it was a marriage, and it wasn't the right decision. It wasn't just the right decision and I had an I had an internship, and pretty much what went on right was like the top worker there. I was doing everything great, and I got to set the stage again, like I said for this story. So okay, oh man, bro, okay. So we had like this lady there who was like also Catholic because I graduated from Catholic school, so she absolutely loved me. At first, she worked just at the front. We had the other interns and Patrick, right? This Patrick idiot. And Patrick was like this guy who he just like talking about like really strange stuff sometimes. And like I remember I always brought my keyboard because I didn't want to ever use like somebody else's computer. So I would always bring my own like computer I had at the time. And I remember he came up and he said, "There's a lot of ports in your computer." And I just looked at him. I didn't respond. Maybe that's why he didn't he this Patrick kid started to hate me or whatever, right? But anyways, I got a call from the area code of my oh of my ex-wife, right? And I had to take the call, right? And nobody was paying any like attention, right? Well, so I thought when I had gotten off the call, Patrick was Patrick was there, like behind me. He was walking off. I didn't know what happened, but I know now. And basically, Patrick had gone around and told everybody, hey, and this is when I had a great reputation. ZM is going through like sounds like a horrible separation. I don't know what happened in his marriage, but it was a very crazy thing. And I would have rather him said I got cucked. I'm not joking because when he said that, girl who that old lady, she was Catholic, right? Who loved me. She assumed the worst, like I was an adulterer or whatever. And then everybody who had like somebody who go through a ballot, they just assumed the absolute worst based on their experience because this Patrick kid made it so open ended and was like he just had no right, guys. He had no right to do that. And what? Oh my gosh! And I didn't make it any better on myself because people started to ask me, "Hey, were you married or something like that?" And I just said it was just for 9 days, right? It was only for 9 days. It was a crazy thing, but this might work if it's like a older dude who's been married a few times, or right, or just going through a midlife crisis. But for me, all that did it raised so many questions, and so I wasn't making anything better on my own, but. It just wasn't good to have people looking at me. That drama, man, it destroyed me because I started losing like respect among some people who really liked me, and it was just horrible, man. Because and if everyone's asking me why didn't I just go and fight Patrick? Because this is not a Disney movie, guys. You can't just fight all the time, right? And it was just it was horrible because it forced me to think about the whole marriage or whatever. And I've still not recovered from it. I've really still not recovered from this situation. But it really was a massive drama. And to make it worse, people started like this is what people will do if they want information from you. They'll start to try to probe you, but in a covert way, right? Like I remember we were doing work with this other like company, right? And they had an intern there, and this person started walking and talking to me, and I thought this person, all right, it was first school, but they had this weird interest in whatever I was doing, and we were talking, and then all of a sudden he's like, my uncle's going through like this horrible divorce. It was a crazy marriage. He wasn't married too long. I'm like, all right, somebody talked to you. I already know. I already know, right? So I basically told the person, you got to get away from her. I don't feel comfortable because I know who said this. I was respectful about it and got out of the conversation. And this is the thing that'll happen too if you're successful and people are trying to probe what you want. They're going to do something like that. But it was just horrible, right? And I feel like that situation of my ex-wife, whatever, it defined me. And that drama, it's very embarrassing, especially for men, right? Everyone knowing what drama you went through, it is horrible. You will get female attention though, you will, but it wasn't worth being seen as just it was bad. There was a girl who also worked at the desk and she had a ton of like plastic surgery, right? Plastic surgery. She was posting up stuff of like different like local city celebrities. And so she assumed the worst too based off of her experience. She probably assumed I was like a freaking like like Hugh Hefner recruiting. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. The calf lady, that thing hurt worse because she respected me, but then she assumed I was some crazy adulterer. And for all you guys asking, well, why didn't you just talk about the situation with the marriage? I didn't have to, right? And guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. And this is, I believe, this 7 or 8 is different. Because I love doing bonuses for you guys, misconceptions that Gen Z men have about the world, guys, and you guys got to stop it, right? Because it's just not good, especially the drama one, guys. So I wanted to say that extraordinary. I'm going to see you guys in the next episode, but because I got to go. But listen, I really appreciate you guys listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what I can do better. I'm always going to listen to criticism. Now, obviously, don't be super, don't be rude about it or whatever. Or you can if you think it's going to help me. And thank you, extraordinaires. And see you.